Mark, thank you very much for joining us on Wide World of Sports. And let me say congratulations on what history will judge as one of the finest ever sporting achievements by an Australian.
Well, thanks, Maxie. I've certainly enjoyed it. From what I gather, a lot of people back at home certainly enjoyed it. So it was obviously the innings of my life so far, and enjoyed every moment of it.
Your decision not to bat on said a lot about Mark Taylor, the man, Mark Taylor, the leader. The fact that you were 334 not out, exactly the same as the great Sir Donald Bradman's record, did that 334 have a significant impact on you not batting on?
Well, I tend to look at it, it may have been a bit of fate for me, I suppose, as I've said a number of times since making the score. It's probably about the only chance I'm going to get to be compared in the same breath to the great man Sir Donald Bradman when it comes to batting. But at the time, I had two balls when I was 334 overnight. I didn't get them away, so we had 600 runs on the board. I thought, well, that's plenty of runs to win the game. I think most of us over here really want to win this series badly. I thought our best chance to win the series and to win that match for that matter was to go out there and field. And I think, as I said, it might have just been fate that was on the same score as Sir Donald Bradman.
Serious question, when Mark Taylor needs a mentor, someone to trust, a sounding board, where does he turn to?
You generally, as I always do, turn to home to start with. I spoke to my wife and to my father, and they were both absolutely no help at all. Sort of said to me, well, it's up to you really, we don't really know what it's like over there. I turned also to the other guys on the side, the Steve Wars, Ian Healy's, Mark Ward, these sort of players, asked them what they thought, and they were very much left the ball in my court. They didn't want to deprive me a chance, I suppose, of some history, but I think on the other side of that coin is that they really wanted to win the game as much as I did. Unfortunately, it didn't happen, but as I've said, if I had the same opportunity again, I'd do the same thing.
Now, Tubbs, you were out there for 15 hours. You scored 426 runs. Only Graham Gooch has scored more runs in a test match than you. How did you maintain both your physical presence and, I guess, your magnificent concentration?
Physically, I felt really well. I trained fairly hard in the off-season, as has been reported back at home. I did a fair bit of training with the trainer, Kevin Chevelle, out at Penrith. Worked fairly hard on my fitness, and my strength felt really good. I didn't really feel ever too physically tired. I felt a bit mentally tired towards the end of the second day of batting. When I was about 280, 290, starting to getting up to the 300 figure, it really started to hit me. Hey, I might make a test 300 here, which is something I never thought I'd achieve that. So I really started to feel a bit tired then. But once I made the 300, I felt good again, and the next 30 runs came very easily. So no, physically I felt fine, and the hand was getting better all the time. Patrick Farhout, our physio here, has worked very hard on it, and obviously didn't affect me too much when I played.
Mark, most of the old-time coaching manuals suggest when you get to 100, you put the head down and you really concentrate. Have you changed your attitude to scoring 100, 200 and now 300 over the last 18 months?
My attitude, I don't think, has changed a lot really over the years. I've always tried to make as many runs as I can after 100. I've made some good size hundreds and a 200 in England some 10 years ago, but I've always thought that, and most players will tell you, that it is the easiest time to bat. Scoring the first 40 or 50 runs is always the hardest, and if you scored 100, if you take into consideration the runs you score after 100, say to 150, those 50 runs are a lot easier to score than your first 50. So you really try and cash in when you get a chance.
Okay, what about your teammates? How are they treating you these days?
They obviously react as you expect the Australian players to react. Firstly, they congratulated me, tapped me on the back, and since then they've been taking the mickey out of me ever since. They're now starting to call me names like Braddles and all that sort of stuff, where 18 months ago when I couldn't make a run, they were calling me Glenn McGrath and Merv Hughes and Dutchy Holland, these sort of names, blokes who haven't got a great record with the stick. So I must admit, I much prefer to be nicknamed Braddles than say Pigeon. Certainly sits better with me.
Tubbs, what about the great Sir Donald Bradman? You're a man of history. You're very aware of what's gone on in the game before you. How does he sit with you right now?
Obviously, he sits with all the Australian players at the pinnacle of Australian cricket. I think always has since he first started playing cricket in the late 20s to these days. That anyone who's, particularly batsmen, who joined the Australian team, think of Sir Donald Bradman as the number one, and that's still the case. And that's why I said what I did when I came out after the game. It would be nice to finish my career with the same highest test score of 334. As I said, it's something I never thought I'd achieve. And to be 334 and the same as Donald's score is just something that I'll remember, I suppose, more than anyone else will remember, that I made a score same as Sir Donald, and that's something that I'll hold dearly for the rest of my life.
Thank you very much, Mark, and congratulations again on that magnificent 334 not out. The whole nation was behind you. We'll never ever forget it. Time to hop into the pool, I think. Have a good one in the third test and bring home the series.
Thanks, Maxie. Cheers.